welcome back to the show. Today, my guest is a good friend of mine, Xime, and she's here to talk about her experiences migrating to new country and new places and all the things that go along with that and the various different culture shocks. So thank you, Xime, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so maybe we could start off at the beginning. Where are you from? Where were you born? And where are you now? Can you maybe walk us through that journey and the different steps along the way?
Yeah, I am from Tucumán. It is city in the north of Argentina. And yeah, I was born and raised there. It is a beautiful city with mountains close by that you can go on hiking trails. It is so beautiful. And then when I was 24, I decided to go on these trips that are called work and travel or work and holiday, where you pay a company and they help you find a job, like a seasonal job, in this case in the USA, and then they give you like extra 30 days for you to travel around the country, and then you come back home.
Oh, cool.
So I did that program and I chose Colorado. I was working in Durango. There is a ski resort called Purgatory, and it was an amazing experience. I met so many people from Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, and Argentina. And I had the beautiful opportunity to travel too. I visited some places like, New York, Las Vegas, the Grand Canyon, etc. When it was a time to come back home, I went to Miami to visit a friend of mine for a week. And in that week, it was a whole emotional process because she asked me one question like, why are you coming back for? What are you coming back for? In that moment, I was like in a transition time, was leaving one relationship and um, figuring out what I wanted to do in my life, maybe changing careers. I was studying at university to be an English teacher. Yeah, just that question opened a whole world of possibilities in my mind, and it was really scary. It was scary because I realized that I was open to those possibilities. So the uncertainty of what Ximena from like in the future will decide was really scary. So long story short, I just stayed. I overstayed my visa, and exactly 1 month later, I met my now husband. So I met him. We just were together since day one, and yeah, it was just amazing. It was easy for both of us. It was easy to hang out, to go party, to go on dates, to go do chores. It was just, yeah, easy. And yeah, we were dating for a year, and on our first year anniversary, rented an Airbnb to celebrate big with our friends in Miami, and he proposed me on that party, and it was amazing. Just everyone party, everyone that we love.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 months later, 3 months later, we got married and we did a beautiful celebration in Miami too, or close by. And this was in July, and we were living together at a moment. And in December, our lease expired. And we decided to relocate. So now we are living in Tennessee. We bought a house here, and yeah, just starting a new life. Totally different. Miami is like a Caribbean country. Doesn't feel like American. It is just everyone speaks Spanish and everyone is from
Right.
some country in Latin America. The culture shock in Miami is really different from the culture shock in Tennessee. And yeah, it is really interesting to experience them all.
Yeah, maybe I'll rewind it back to that initial time that you left your home, I guess home area, hometown, home country for that work program. Did you think at that time that you might end up never moving back home? Was it always a thought of yours growing up that maybe one day you'd like to live abroad, or did you think that you would stay in Argentina for your life while you were growing up?
It was a dream since I was a kid to live in an English speaking country. I always loved English, the language, and I studied in different schools, like extra, like a different school from my regular school since I am like 12. I always liked it, and slowly I started learning that learning the language is not just the language. You inevitably learn the culture and the jokes and yeah, everything that involves just learning the whole new culture. Yeah, in this case, it is in the USA. There are many countries that I had in mind because I just wanted to speak in English all the time.
Was it a difficult, I guess, had you taken English classes in school, or was it kind of like an independent study to learn the language?
I always went to different schools to learn English. And when I went to high school, I studied so I can get in a high school that is bilingual. So I could get better at just faster.
And what have been maybe the biggest changes, the biggest differences in the culture of Argentina versus the United States? Were there any things that when you first moved over kind of stood out as maybe difficult to transition or like uncomfortable?
The beginning, I think I didn't feel many of those because my transition was from Argentina to Miami mostly. And a lot of things are similar and interacting with people is similar. Latin people have like a different way of interacting. It is really warm and welcoming, and yeah, it is like really easy to make friends. So the transition in Miami it was with a lot of pleasure. It was easy, but the transition here in Tennessee, it is the one that has been a little bit more challenging. I think mostly to make friends for me, or I think for every Argentinian or every Latin American person, or everyone actually. But it's really, really big thing in Argentina to have friends and to have good friends. And friends usually become family, and you treat them like family. And here it's taking maybe more time than what I was expecting to create those friendships, those connections. Some people um, here are just different. It is a different way to interact.
Do you think that the cultural differences, like you're mentioning in Miami, there's a lot of Latin Americans, and so you have the language and a lot of similarities, and it's a bit easier to assimilate and feel like part of the community as soon as you get there, even though it's a different country. But then in Tennessee, are there not as many folks from Latin American countries? Is what's made it more difficult, or maybe there's just less people overall, just less humans in general, or what do you think has been the structural challenges of finding your niche there?
Yeah, in Miami, it is so full of people, and a lot of those are Latin American. So it is really easy to find people that you have similarities with. Here, I do live in the countryside. So yeah, there are less humans here. And also there are not many Latin American people. I just found two so far, one person from Argentina and one person from Colombia. And they live far away, so I don't think we'll be really close friends. I think here most of the people are American, and I am learning to adapt to their way of making
Mhm.
friends, to interact and to meet new people. It is maybe more difficult to offer my way because my way will probably be, hey, come back home for some mate. Let's hang out all day, Yeah, let's go for dinner. In Argentina, or Latin American people in general have a different concept of time.
Mm.
So when you hang out with friends, somehow everyone assumes that you have all the time in the world for them. Hanging out, for example, for lunch. And it is highly probable that by 10 p.m. you will still be hanging out. And
Yeah,
maybe until 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. And here is with more schedules and okay, I can hang out, but from 2 to 4. Or yeah, yesterday I went on a hike with a friend and okay, yeah, I can go on a hike like from 1 to 3:30.
right. Very
Mm-hmm.
regimented. Yeah, it's interesting how you put it. There's like a different concept of time between the cultures. And I grew up in New Jersey in the United States, so it was always natural for me to live on a schedule. My parents were definitely very much punctual, putting things on calendars, having time blocks, having like the day planned out ahead, and you always know what you're going one thing to the next. It wasn't really until I started traveling outside of the country, and I haven't done it you know, extensively for long periods of time, but it is striking that when I'll be in different countries outside of the United States, just the sense, like you can almost feel it in the air that people are not as rushed, they're not
Mhm.
as focused on going from one thing to the next. Could you maybe talk about what that feeling is for you when you were growing up and that concept of time and how you approach life? And do you see it as just being like a different prioritization of the different cultures? Like maybe in Argentina, it's like the priority is spending quality time with family and friends as opposed to United States. Maybe the priorities are, being productive or getting something accomplished or something like that. How do you perceive those differences?
Yeah, good question. It just brought me back to my childhood and after school. Well, I used to live in a neighborhood that was full of kids. So coming back from school, then you go hang out with friends, and there's no time limit, only when you have to go to bed, maybe 9 p.m. Go for dinner and then go to bed. So yeah, when you're a kid, you hang out, I don't know, 8 hours with friends. And pretty much the same when you're a teenager, maybe after school, usually on Fridays, you go hang out with friends and you don't have a plan. You're just hanging out. So maybe you go to the house of one friend and maybe you go to the pool or maybe you go to the mall and maybe you go for coffee and there's not really a plan. Your only priority is to hang out with them, And with family, the same. In Argentina, every Sunday is barbecue day. It is a really big thing. And yeah, the barbecues usually start at 7 a.m. because they are preparing the fire, and having some mates, that is this drink. And yeah, it can extend until 8 p.m. Usually my childhood was like that. Barbecue days on Sundays. You first have the barbecue and then the dessert and then you play board games. And yeah, whenever you're tired, you go home. But
Right.
usually people don't schedule things because it is just not part of the culture. It's not because they refuse to do it.
Hmm.
So yeah, like schedules don't exist unless um, you are in school, for example, unless it is something that really needs a schedule, like your job or school. Um,
Right. Have you found yourself wanting to bring more of that type of approach into your life in the United States and bring that with you, or is it something that you're trying to move more toward the American approach?
in Miami, I have a really beautiful group of friends, and they are from Argentina, Peru, Colombia, and with them, I can definitely have that approach. And when we hang out, maybe we say we'll do this, but I know that I have to bring a backpack with my swimsuit, with a hat, and a few snacks maybe, because we'll be hanging out for who knows how long. And yeah, maybe we end up on the beach. Here it is a little different. And I think I tried to do it a little bit, but I also adapt to the other person because I doesn't mean because it is my way, it is a better way. It is just a balance. And I am sure that when I have closer friendships, I will be able to apply that a little bit more.
And like slowly bring it back in, like let people kind
Mhm.
of get used to that approach rather than
Yeah.
going full into it. Maybe I can also rewind a little bit back to the process of your migration into the United States. You mentioned that you had a visa and you let it expire. Was that nerve wracking? What was paperwork related angles to all this? What were some of the challenges there?
Well, when I decided to overstay the visa, it was really scary because I didn't know what could happen. I mentally prepared as much as possible, to not have a breakdown or regret it.
Hmm.
And I just said to myself, okay, I will just do it. There's not much to lose because I can try it here. If for some reasons things go wrong or I have to leave the country or whatever, I just go try somewhere else. And I knew that it was risky, but my curiosity was way stronger. Um,
Hmm.
my mindset was just like, okay, whatever, I will just do it. Seeing that there are a lot of people on the same situation in Miami, gave me a lot of comfort, and I was not feeling alone
Mm.
because I was not the only one. And it made the process easier, definitely. Having a lot of emotional support and people that are on the same page.
Yeah. Theoretically, what would have happened? So, say you like went back home and tried to come back into the country. Is that something where they would prevent you from re-entering if you didn't have visa work figured out? So, were you basically stuck staying under the radar for a while?
Yeah, well, with an overstayed visa, if you leave the country, you cannot come back because when you come back, they will tell you, hey, you overstayed your visa last time. We will not let you in again for a
Mm.
few years. I don't know if 5 or 10. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there was a risk that, well, now it is really big, this thing with ICE, that they are deporting a lot of people. Maybe if
Mhm.
I was in that situation, maybe if I was with an overstayed visa in this political situation, it would be more risky. And yeah, probably the risk is that they deport you and they tell you, okay, go home and don't come back because we won't let you in.
Right.
Yeah, and I decided to stay because um that wasn't enough to stop me. I was ready to pay that price for the decision that I was making.
Now, with those restrictions or limitations, did you find that it was difficult to maintain relationships and connections with your family back in Argentina, or what were the dynamics going on there?
Yeah, in this situation, I couldn't leave the country. So my family got the visa. They did the process. It is a really long process to get the visa from Argentina. And first, my mom came to visit because, well, she knew the whole situation. She knew that I wouldn't be visiting for a while. I didn't know how long. And then my dad came to visit. Then my sister came to visit. And that was comforting. And that felt really nice to have family close, they could stay with us. And yeah, it was like, yeah, it was like being at home, far from home, having my mom's
Yeah.
food, my mom's dishes. Yeah, it felt just amazing. And of course, I miss a lot of my friends, my grandma that I have a really strong connection with. Now the plan is to travel in next month, in July. That should be, yeah, that should be amazing. I'm excited.
To travel back to Argentina?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Get to reconnect, spend some time with the family.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait.
Cool. So we had talked about maybe some of the challenges and things that have been difficult for your transition into American culture. Maybe what's like the opposite side of that? What have been similarities that you've enjoyed?
Well, here living in the countryside, it is just so beautiful. And yeah, I love it. It is peaceful and people are really kind. Crime rate is low. That is my favorite. The feeling of safety. In Miami, I also felt that. I know that the crime rate is higher, um, but I never went through anything like that there, and no one that I knew. So it felt really safe too. And Miami just feels like a vacation place, like a vacation time all the time. It is really difficult to focus on things, You can go to the beach anytime you want and you can go party anytime you want. It needs a lot of like a strong mind to focus, and it is not something about I'm complaining about, it is amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really lucky to live in beautiful places.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see what you mean with the distractions in Miami.
Mhm.
There's just so many different opportunities to be entertained or yeah, to go to the beach and go swim in the ocean and kind
Yeah.
of avoid work to
Yeah.
certain extents. Like it definitely takes a lot of focus and being centered to maintain productivity in an area that's so driven by tourism and entertainment and things to kind of pull you away from your daily responsibilities.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe we can talk about when you're out in obviously in the countryside, you're not necessarily near a city center. How has career been impacted being able to make money and have a job? Or I believe both you and Kurt are kind of fully remote now. Has that been relatively easy to maintain?
Yeah. Now, well, both of us work remotely, and I think that's great. It gives us the freedom to move wherever we want. And yeah, now I am teaching Spanish classes, and That's been amazing. I love it so much. I used to teach English classes, and I think teaching Spanish it has a different taste because you teach a little bit of your culture, and you're being
Mm.
paid for that. Living in the countryside, the internet service is not really good. You would be surprised because we're in 2025. Everything is with the internet,
Right.
but yeah, the internet connection is not the best. But yeah, it is just beautiful out here that I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I can I hear the birds chirping in the background. It's very
Yeah,
peaceful. I feel like I'm
yeah,
in a guided meditation app, just listening to the birds chirping in the background. It's super nice.
yeah.
So for your Spanish and your English lessons, do you use a particular application? Like how have you found your students that you work with? Any platforms in particular?
Now the students that I have, they found me through previous students or friends. I'm not working with any website yet. I am in the process of getting a certification for that, and after that, I want to get into websites and yeah, have more students. I want to be more prepared too. And now I'm working just with a Google Meet video
Mhm.
call to have that interaction channel, and with Figma, that is like a whiteboard, and you put whatever you want there. You can draw, you can put text, you can put images, or anything you want. So that gives me the freedom to prepare the class in different ways. Yeah.
Nice. Are most of your students like of younger age? Do you also have like kind of adult students who are graduated or just like wanting to pick up another language? What is like the typical um, path or position of most of your students?
Yeah. Mostly people that want to learn the language to travel. They want to
Mm.
travel to Latin American countries. They want to experience it better and um, understand more of everything that is going on. They just take classes to be more connected. I think it is a whole new way to understand the culture and understand the people, understanding the language. Actually, um, one student got the opportunity to meet new people traveling in Latin America by her new knowledge. Maybe
Mm.
she wouldn't make new friends in these new countries if she didn't know how to speak the language.
Right, I bet.
So that is amazing. That is my favorite part of teaching and learning two languages, the ability to just use it, to just
Hmm.
interact with people, make friends.
And looking forward into the future, do you have plans on continuing to explore different areas, maybe different countries, different cultures, or do you feel like you want to put down roots where you are? What is your vision for the future?
I like this place a lot, and I could definitely stay here for a really long time. It is so beautiful, and I'm still open to explore. Who knows? Maybe in a few years we're living in Argentina or in Europe. I think we are both open to all the possibilities and just ready to explore the world. I definitely would love to travel. I don't know if to establish somewhere else, but I would love to travel and see the world.
Yeah, but what are some of the things that you miss the most about Argentina?
The food quality.
Mm.
In Argentina, we have these stores that are only for veggies and fruits. They are called verduleria, and that is like veggie store. And you just go with your own bag and say, I want 1 kilo of potatoes and I don't know, half a kilo of carrots and a dozen of oranges or mandarins. Nothing in plastic. Yeah, a lot of things organic. The same with the meat. The butcher, there is one every neighborhood. So I miss that the easy access to food that is, yeah, maybe less processed. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I mean, I
friends
feel
and
like that
family.
could be an entire other episode to talk about the food supply
Yeah,
differences in the United States
yeah.
versus other countries. Yeah, as maybe we could talk about just a little bit of your experience in the United States. What has your approach been to maintain the quality that you're used to? What kind of approaches do you take when buying food here?
I always go to the store and yeah, I usually go to the veggie section first and buy as much as possible. And yeah, if we can get the organic, even better. We usually skip the frozen section. Like They have all kind of things here. I wouldn't imagine that. Yeah, they have so many things for you not to cook. I don't even look at it. I'm not interested, in food that I don't know how it was made with what ingredients. Our cart is usually full of veggies, eggs, milk.
Yeah, I think it ties back into the schedules and the moving from one thing to the next. And you said there's in the store, there's so many things that you don't need to cook. Like they're already prepared and already ready.
Yeah,
Obviously, the convenience factor is there, but I think you miss out on a lot of the experience of preparing your own food when you rely solely on those types of pre-prepared meals. And it might be a little bit more enjoyable to really take your time finding clean ingredients, preparing them, with family and friends. No agenda, no set amount of time for the eating experience to last, and just kind of let the time flow, and don't box it in too much with a set schedule.
ready to go food or yeah, it just skips the whole process, You just buy it and put it in the microwave maybe, and that's it. You have something, not necessarily having any nutrients or vitamins.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make a series of podcasts about this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's plenty to dive into there. Maybe we could save it for another time. You can let people know where they could find you if they're looking for English or Spanish lessons.
It'll be amazing. I have a website that is Aprendamos Inglés con Xime, and yeah, you can find me there and contact me. Also in my email, deld.ximena, Ximena, @gmail.com. And yeah, it is a beautiful language. You can meet all kind of people. Latin America is beautiful. Yeah, it has a spark. Living in Miami, it is a little taste of what it is like. Just music, dance, food, drinks, all day, every day. And
Right.
so yeah, I encourage people to learn the language, to travel, to taste it.
Yeah. Yeah. The Latin culture definitely has a passion for life that I think is unique and definitely distinct from the American culture, and even just learning the language and being able to express yourself in that language, it builds into your character by osmosis, just giving a little boost to your personality to have that influence in there
Definitely.
is always cool. And as we're wrapping up here, I wanted to give you the opportunity to maybe provide any last words of advice to any folks that might be listening that are considering making big life changes like moving to a new country. Any tips or overarching perspectives you want to leave?
Yeah, that best things in the world are after the big fear. Like a lot of the big things make you feel a lot of fear. You're not supposed to be chill when your life is about to change. Taking the courage to go over that, it is the most rewarding thing that you can have. Proving yourself that you can give you the best life that you can desire, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the best things in life are behind the fear. You gotta face it, gotta go through it, feel the discomfort
Yeah.
in order to get the benefits on the other side.
Yeah. And the evolution.
Excellent. Great perspective and advice, and thank you for sharing your story with us, Ime. Appreciate you having stopped by the show.
Thank you so much. It was an amazing experience. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for listening. See you next time.